I, 26M, was cheated on by my girlfriend. Growing up, I didn't have any experience with relationships. I struggled with self-confidence. I had never been intimate with a woman. I was quirky, so I never really knew how to hold a conversation with a girl. I tried dating apps, but nothing ever worked out for me, even though I was a decent guy with a good heart. I was busy in college getting my engineering degree, so it was hard to find time to come out of my shell. A few years went by, and at 25, I decided to give dating apps another try. Mind you, I was still living at my parents' place because of student debt. I matched with a beautiful woman. Her profile stood out to me, not just because she was attractive, but because she seemed adventurous, outgoing, and fun, a good complement to my personality. She had just moved back to Texas after spending a few years in Canada. Um, we hit it off pretty quickly, but then things slowed down a bit because I was too nervous to ask her out. Still, we kept talking and stayed in touch. A month went by, and I finally got the courage to see what she was up to. At the time, she was working as a bartender, so I went to visit her while she was on shift. We connected pretty well, and shortly after that, we went on our first date. It was awkward for me, given how inexperienced I was, but she made it easy for me to be myself. I felt comfortable around her right away and opened up about my insecurities and confidence issues. She never judged me for it. One thing led to another, and within a few weeks, we were spending time together almost every day. I lost my virginity to her. She brought out the fun side of me. We went on dates and did things I never would have done if it weren't for her. After a few months of dating, she started opening up about her personal life and past. Of course, I can only go off of what she told me, but from what she shared, I learned that she never really had a father growing up. Her life lacked stability. Her mom moved from city to city, supposedly chasing guys with money. She was along for the ride. She said her family was abusive. She told me she never really had any friends or a proper education. She came to Texas hoping to reconnect with her family and start over after a troubled relationship back in her home country. She told me she'd been cheated on and had trust issues. From the start, I reassured her that I was loyal and would never do anything like that. Cheating was my biggest fear. She had very little money and no place to live. No one's perfect, myself included, but I never judged her for her background or her experiences. As time went on, I started falling in love with her. She got her GED. I helped steer her away from the bar scene. Even though she made decent money bartending, it was a toxic environment and she worked late nights. She often said she felt unsafe and uncomfortable because of the way men talked to her and her coworkers. Eventually, she left that job, and I encouraged her to go to EMS school since she was interested in building something for herself. She had doubts. She had never really been to school or had any real support system aside from me, but I believed she could do it. A few months later, she graduated as an EMT. I was her biggest supporter. We decided to take the next step in our relationship. We toured apartments, got approved for one, and were ready to sign the lease. But we decided to wait a little until she got the hang of her new job. She started a new chapter when she accepted a job offer that supposedly required occasional travel. Around that time, we had taken in a stray kitten we planned to raise together. She left for what was supposed to be a 1-week training in a neighboring state, and I stayed back to take care of the kitten. She told me to post the kitten for adoption on Facebook Marketplace, since she wouldn't be around to care for it. That felt a bit heartless to me, so I decided to keep the kitten. She had been told, still not sure if that was true, that she'd only be deployed for natural disasters and would be based in Texas full time. That turned out to be false. After the 1-week training, she had to stay an additional 2 weeks for clinicals. Not long after that, she started getting sent to various cities in the state, working 3 weeks on and getting 1 week off. We saw each other when we could. I visited her, and she visited me. But after about a month, I started seeing red flags. It felt like a one-sided relationship. I was making more effort to see her than she was to see me. I felt like I wasn't receiving the same kind of love and care that I was giving her. The relationship basically became long distance, and she never really gave me a clear answer about what her long-term plans were. She had met a close group of friends during her orientation. One of them was a guy. I was always skeptical about it, but I remained loyal and didn't suspect anything was going on. Then she posted a picture with them. He had his arm around her. She also posted a video of herself riding on someone's back, presumably that guy, at a concert. I was a bit upset and felt disrespected. She apologized. I began to question whether I was being cheated on, but she always assured me they were just friends and there was nothing intimate between them. A few weeks went by, mind you. I was seeing her only 2 to 3 times a month, and I kept seeing his name more and more. She and that group of friends would go on little adventures during their time off. She told stories about him. She started listening to classic rock in my car. She had never listened to classic rock before. Turned out he introduced her that music. She went to comfort him because his mom died. Another time, she went to visit one of the girls in the group for a girls' night. I was kind of left out of the loop. I started missing her, and she kept messaging me that she missed me too and that she loved me. She always said what a good man I was and was always happy to come visit me. One day, I tried to visit her on her day off, but she didn't want to let me come. Turned out she had some evening plans in the city where her group of friends lived. I got a little irritated because I hadn't seen her in weeks, and she wouldn't let me drive 4 hours just to see her. She said it was pointless since she had to work early the next day. That's when she told me she needed a commitment if she was going to leave her job for me. Don't get me wrong, I did want her to work full time in the town where I lived, but we had already agreed on a compromise where she could work 2 weeks on and 1 week off, or 1 week on and 1 week off, so that we could see each other more often since she felt like she was becoming distant. But now she wanted a ring as a sign of commitment, and we'd only been dating for 10 months. She told me I had until the weekend to decide. I loved her deeply, but based on her behavior, she hadn't proven that she was worthy of a ring. Her plans were constantly changing. That's when, with a heavy heart, I decided to try to end things because I felt the relationship had become one sided. I dropped off her things at her only family member's house. I sent her a breakup message and ignored my phone because I was so upset. I didn't want to break up with her, but she left me no choice. Within an hour of getting my message, she drove 4 hours to see me, despite me asking her not to. She used phone apps to call me from fake numbers since I had blocked her. She emailed me. She messaged me on LinkedIn. Long story short, I woke up in the morning to find her crying on my doorstep. We talked about our relationship. I explained to her the position she had put me in. She agreed that she shouldn't have asked me for that level of commitment. I told her that a more reasonable step of commitment would be signing a lease together, which we had talked about before. She agreed to put more effort into the relationship, apologized for her behavior, and once again told me she loved me. A week later, we met halfway and spent an incredible night together. She still had the same smile and laughter as always. She still seemed like the same loving person. At that point, I thought things were finally getting better. I was wrong. Another week passed, and one morning I checked her location just to make sure she was okay. Her location was active and live. After I sent her a good morning message, she replied saying her iPhone was updating and her location was no longer working. She said she was working a shift that day. The weather was terrible. Flash floods were hitting the area, or so I thought, based on where I believed she was, so I was worried about her safety, especially since she was driving an ambulance. Throughout the day, she gave me partial updates on how work was going. I didn't think much of it at the time. I feel like a complete fool. I lost my girlfriend, who I considered my best friend, and my pet. I was so blinded by love that I couldn't see a single red flag. If it hadn't been for him, I would have never been able to make sense of all this. Um, I still want to believe that she had real feelings for me when she made that long trip to see me after I broke up with her, and now she's off on her next adventure. I feel incredibly sad, and I don't know how to get through this. I know I'll have trust issues going forward, and I would really appreciate any advice, personal stories, or just a few words of support.